it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso, and I'm here doing an interview with Melissa. She is the owner of Rocky, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rocky the Doberman.
Yes, Rocky the Doberman. And I worked with her and Rocky one of our just standard sessions, which is it's a month-long process. Typically we do one session a week. And so just wanted to kind of get her experience. It's previously I really haven't done anything like this with any of my clients, but I just thought maybe it would be fun for you guys. So here we are. So tell me a little bit about what experience you had before meeting me, as far as what you were experiencing and like the types of training that you had used.
Yeah, so we had gone to a couple of different places for training, starting when he was a little puppy, like 4 months old. And the first place we went was like a chain place here in Austin, and I think for puppy classes it was okay. They basically used a treat training, and you taught the dog to sit and go down and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, for that I think it was fine. Like, he learned those commands and stuff and what those meant. And then we tried another place as he got a little bit older, and we were having trouble with like walking him and stuff. So we tried one of the chain pet stores down the street.
Okay.
And so we signed up for their classes, their puppy obedience classes, and it was very similar. It was like, everything is done with treats, and it was I found it kind of very repetitive. We did a couple of their classes, and it was it was very repetitive as far as like most of the classes involved like having the dog sit, go down, stay, that kind of stuff, and all with treats. So, but then we had a little bit of trouble. We were finding that, when we didn't have treats, it was hard to get him to do what we wanted him to. Rocky.
He's okay.
Okay,
he's,
all
he's
right.
being very submissive.
Okay, good, all right.
He is. He's being,
Okay.
I remember you. You're sweet. You're sweet.
So,
You're sweet.
Yeah, he remembers you definitely. So we were doing a lot of that stuff, but we were having some other problems, and I would bring these problems up with the trainer. So for example, he was pulling a lot on the leash, right? And the trainer there recommended like one of those front pull harnesses, and it's got like the loop on the front. And so we tried that for a while. I never really tried a back harness, but we tried this front harness thing, and it seemed to kind of help with this pulling, but then we were having problems with him like barking at people, people would jog by us and he'd be like, like want to bark and like attack them basically. And so I brought this, I would bring these things up with the trainer there, and she was just like, well, bring treats and like have him, distract him with a treat or whatever. And I tried that stuff and it just like didn't really work for him. And so that's kind of what those were kind of the things that we had done up until we met you. And so we were starting, when we got in touch with you, we were starting to have some of these issues where he was wanting to like get at people when he was on the leash, and when he's off leash, he was like charging at people.
Right.
And I was, trying to talk to the trainer that we were using at the time, and she really just didn't have any good ideas about it.
Right.
Like she would kind of say, well, yeah, we can work on that, and then we never really would, or you could distract him with a treat. Well, when he's like charging away from me, it's hard to get his attention with a treat. And then I just didn't know what to do, and it was kind of escalating. So, and I just wasn't finding that the treat training was being real helpful. Right. So that's kind of where we were at, I guess, when we found you.
Okay, perfect. And so how did you find us?
Well, I've been watching your videos for a long time. So I've been watching your videos since Cashmere had her first litter.
Oh wow!
So, yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
So when you had like baby Blondie, that's about when I found you and I started watching, and that was before I got him.
Yeah.
And so I got him like last November, and I've been watching. I guess that's probably about 6 months or so. I'd already been watching the videos, and I just could see how you were with your dogs, and I was really impressed with your methods. It reminded me a little bit of Cesar Milan, who I really respect a lot, and I always thought he was so amazing, and so I saw what you did, and you had these big dogs that are protection breed, and so when I got him, I don't know, I thought like he's my first Doberman, right? I was ready to do discipline with him and everything. Like I definitely was not averse to doing discipline, but I really didn't know like how to communicate with him. I guess is what I was finding. Like he got more like out of control than I thought that he would. Like I thought doing the training that we did, like the puppy obedience and like the treat training and stuff, and telling him no sometimes when I thought he was doing something wrong. Like I thought that would be enough.
Right.
And so it just wasn't. So,
right.
But yeah, that's how we found you through the videos. I've been watching for a long time, and he's Rocky, dude.
No.
There you go. Yeah, Rocky. Rocky, go lay down. Go lay down. Down. Get down. There, good boy. Okay. So anyway, yeah.
So did you find our training to be effective?
Yeah. So so the first couple times I met you. If you recall, when we went to the park and I hadn't officially like signed up to do the training, and we just kind of did a pack walk. We were doing a pack walk out there, right? So, and it was super embarrassing like the first time because like I think the first time we were out with you, I mean I had him in that harness thing, right? And we came across some people. And he was like, rah, 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 rah. You know, he's like looking like he wants to kill them and stuff. And you were like, yeah, I don't think your methods are working. I
tried to be nice. I tried to be very polite about it. But I did try to give you a warning that you would probably need more going pretty soon.
And then I think after that one, we had one more meeting where we did the pack walk, and that time he was off leash and he charged at somebody, right? And you were kind of like, okay. I remember you told me then, and I was freaked out at that because it had just started like within the last few weeks too, so I was really kind of at a loss of what to do. Right. But and you were kind of like, I really at that point I think you said like, I think we need more help. Yeah. And I was like, I think I do too. So anyway, so that was, I know what we worked on a lot with you. So the first thing you told me I remember was to get a different collar, not to use the harness, right? So I got rid of that thing and I started using, I tried a couple different ones. I have like a choke one that I tried, and then I also tried, what ended up working best for him is a prong collar. Right. And so he just seems to respond a little better to that as far as like it kind of pulls him back, you know? And so I just have used that, and you told me like either one of those were fine. So I started using that in his walks, and I would correct him, like, I think you told me to correct him, like, as soon as I saw him kind of zero in on someone, correct him.
That's the essence of timing.
Yeah.
So many people, even if you know what to do, it's imperative to know when to do it. So a lot of people miss the mark. They miss the early stuff. So we worked on recognizing those early signs before it actually escalates.
Yeah, so we did that and that was even before you had given me that advice before we even did our first training session. So I was starting to do that on walks, and that was, and even by the time we had our first training session on walks, at least he was doing much better. Yeah. And he does great on walks now. I mean, I've even gotten to where I can kind of let him look at something, and I know he's not going to go off.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll let him look now, and then we just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
So he knows he doesn't do that, even when other dogs bark at him, or a lot of times we'll go by dogs and they're barking and lunging at him, and he's just like, oh, okay.
So he's like preaching. Excellent, awesome, excellent.
Yeah, so he's doing great. So that was the first kind of advice that you gave us, and then our next sessions we worked on. I remember some of the things that really stand out. That the advice that you gave me was one to do like kind of boot camp with him, right? So we did like kind of obedience boot camp. We would go out every day for like 15 minutes and just sit and down and come and stay and just do those things until he was basically just sick and tired of them.
Right, exactly.
And that was really helpful. Like I think that really got him, like he's real good with those commands now. I mean, he's even with distractions and stuff. And I think the big thing we worked on though was the charging at people, right? That was probably the biggest issue that he had, because that was like kind of a danger, potential liability for us. Right. And so that's been really effective. We don't have any more issues with him doing that, and I think like the last time we went out with you, you were able to see that. And
he did great, excellent.
And excellent. So now he'll watch. Like if he sees people coming, he'll kind of get alert, and his ears will be up, and his tail might go up a little, but he's not like he doesn't start growling and stepping towards them like he did. So that's been super helpful. And I think like, you know, we worked on it with you. You kind of showed us what I think one of the big things that you showed us was like how to communicate to him that what he was doing was not acceptable.
Exactly.
Which is something that I think I just found like at first before working with you, that was something I just didn't really. Rocky, get out of it. Okay. He's chewing on the thing there. Yeah. So, anyways, so that was something that I really just didn't know how to do. Rocky, shh.
I know you want attention, but you better quit.
Yeah, he's trying to get attention.
He's being so good. He's so submissive right now. He's got his ears down. He has this absolutely earnest look like, I'm a good boy, please.
I really am.
Yeah, he's like, I really am good. I've been very good since you left. Like I swear I can see it all over him. He's being such a sweetheart. Yeah, he's being such a sweetheart. So respectful. When I first came in, this dog was like kind of jumping around me and like kind of pushing me around and chewing on my hands, and now he's just looking up at me like just with the sweetest look ever. It's so adorable, but I can't pay attention to him. I gave him his acknowledgement, and now I have to ignore him.
Well, that was something that I think when you first came here, like our first session, you came and I was like, you know, she's probably gonna come in and be like, okay, you guys have a couple things to work on, but you know, you're doing okay. And you came in and you were just like, oh my god, like this dog is out of control, and you guys have basically a toddler that's running around and doing whatever he wants. And I was like, oh my god.
And that's what I told you. Do you remember when we first? You were like, where do you want to meet for the training? And I was like, well, I want to see him at the house. And you were like, well, he's really good at home. And I was like, yeah. I was like, a lot of people think their dogs are really good at home, but they're usually not.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just go ahead and take a look and see.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's the key. You know, that's where I'm able to see all of it. You know, I can look at things outside and you'll see behaviors, but certain behaviors can be can come from different sources. It can be the same behavior but can stem from a different source. So you know, you might have an aggressive dog that is barking at people, and it could just be because they're not socialized. You know, it could literally be a lack of socialization, or it could be that the dog has frazzled nerves, or in this case, it could just be he thought he was the top dog and he thought he was doing what he was supposed to do. And so, because a behavior can stem from so many different reasons, it's very important that I get to the source of it to see what's going on in the home, and that way I know, okay, this is where this is coming from. You know what I mean? And it's the key. And as you saw, as soon as we did that, everything else fell into place like dominoes. You know what I mean? It all started to get much easier, and it starts at the home, you know, in the core.
Yeah, I mean, so to kind of get back to the meat of your question, which was, did the training help? Yes. I mean, it definitely like changed our lives with this dog. Like this dog is like, I mean, he is, I feel like I have control over him now, you know, whereas before I was like, I don't know what to do when he like charges or whatever, or when I see him, you know, I didn't know what to do, or when he was on leash and would want to like look like he wanted to kill someone or something, you know, and I just like didn't know what to do. And now I feel like you know, and he's like almost 10 months old, so he's still
a baby.
He still gets to be a little bit of a butthead at times, you know,
he's a baby.
he's still a baby, but now I know what to do, so now I have the tools, you know, in my belt there to do what I need to do. And so that was like a huge thing for us that really changed things.
So do you think that was like when you compare my training versus the other people's training, what would you say is the biggest difference and the thing that made it more effective?
Well, what I realized about what the other people were teaching was basically teaching him to do tricks, for treats. And I think that's fine. Like, you know, when if he doesn't know how to sit, I think using a treat is fine to teach him what sit means, right? But then once he understands what those means, then I feel like that training isn't very effective. And because I don't want to always have a treat in my hand when I want him to sit, or when I want him to walk on the leash. And certainly when he's decided he's going to go like kill someone, a treat in my hand isn't going to do anything. So you know, and I noticed like, you know, I wasn't the only one in those classes, because people would talk about there was some other folks that had trouble with their dogs, like wanting to, you know, lunge and bark at people on the leash, and that trainer just wasn't able to help with that. So and those particular trainers were also very against like a choke or a prong type collar. And I remember like I showed up like for the last day of the class I had, because I had started working with you, but I was kind of finishing up that class. And I showed up with like the prong collar on, and they were like, he doesn't need that. Yeah. And I was like, well, you know what? It works. So
yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, it doesn't hurt him. Like he he still loves to go on walks and stuff. It's not like he's like, oh, I can't walk, I can't do this anymore. You know, he doesn't bother him at all. It just gives him a little communication, I think.
Oh yeah,
to, like,
of course.
Okay, I don't want you walking ahead of me.
Right,
or, you know,
right.
I don't want you to bark at that dog. So
right.
So I feel like what they taught me was more like, here's how to teach him a new command versus like actually getting him to do commands when I want him to, and to let him know that, like, you know, in the event there's like a stranger approaching or something, let him know that like I decide when we need to, like, you know, go after someone, not him, right? Whereas I think before, like you said, he was. What you told me was when we first started meeting was that basically he thought he had to go do this, right? Like he kind of didn't really know what he was doing, but he just thought, I have to go and protect, and I'm just going to run at this person. And so I think like the methods that you showed me really helped me to teach him that no, you don't need to do that. Like, I'm the one. I will tell you.
Right. Exactly.
when you need to protect. So
yeah. Exactly.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
And so, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I would just really, I would recommend you to anybody that needs training for a dog, especially like a strong protection breed like this. I just think that these dogs need like some special skills, which you have, and which you, I feel like you have imparted those to me, and I'm not as good at it as you are, but at least I know kind of what I need to do, and I work on practicing it. Yeah.
I wasn't who I am today, you know, whenever I first started either. It's always a learning process.
Yeah.
But for me, what I try to do is, that's why I don't take people's dogs and train them. You know, there are some extreme cases where it's not safe for the owner to work with them, and I will kind of get that initial groundwork in, but your guy wasn't one of them. But my main thing is to come in and to teach the owner what to do and how to do it. That way they have the skills to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I come in, I show you, I tell you, I demonstrate, but ultimately then I leave you that week to kind of do it, practice it, figure it out, which is, you know, more of empowering, like what you said, you to have the skills now and the tools to know how to do it, so that when it happens, you know how to address it and fix it going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel that I can take him out and even let him be off leash, you know, and I don't feel like, you know, well, one, I think one thing you taught me was how to recognize the signs that he's about to do that he wants to go, you know, like protect. And so now I really watch him carefully. Like, if I see someone coming, he's gotten a lot better to where, you know, I'm not quite to the point where I trust him enough to not watch him. Right. But I keep a good eye on him, and I can tell when he's got those signs that he's thinking he might need to protect. And I stop it right then before it happens. And so I feel like we can be out, and I've taken him out off leash, like on some parks. Like, there's a little park outside my daughter's swim team practice area, and like when she's practicing, I'll take him out there and throw the ball for him and stuff. And you know, if someone comes by, I just keep an eye on him, and he'll watch them usually. He'll just watch them go by.
And that's what protection dogs do. You know, they want to see. Nothing wrong with looking, you know, so long as you can handle it. But yeah, his demeanor has totally changed.
Yeah,
you know,
from when you were here before.
he's went from being, like I said earlier, you know, a rambunctious kind of, you know, toddler pushing his way around to being a very sweet, young puppy that is just happy and, you know, just being a normal puppy.
Yeah.
Right? The pushiness of trying to be loved while also being sweet about it. I mean, the way he was very respectful. It's not wrong for a dog to ask for affection from somebody that has worked with him and knows him. But to walk up and chew on everybody, not okay.
Yeah, that's no good.
So he has totally changed. He's a doll. He's such a beautiful dog.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just very happy that it worked out the way that it did, and that you get to enjoy him, because I know that you were having self-doubts about being able to handle a breed like this.
And, I was,
And you're doing a phenomenal job with him now.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you have a lot to be proud of.
Thank you.
He's a very beautiful dog. And folks, he's not neutered, okay? We're talking full hormones on this guy.
Yeah.
That's not easy for a lot of people. So, and he comes from strong working lines, but working temperaments, working lines. the breeder actively works them. So this is not a dog that has had any kind of dulled down breeding for temperament.
Yeah.
So he was genuinely the real deal, and she's got him in check. And is it your first Doberman?
He's our first Doberman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just he kind of like bowled me over with what I like.
Yeah.
I wasn't quite. I guess I didn't quite know what to expect, even though I thought I did. But yeah, But I did. I reached a point, like you said, where I was like unsure if I make a mistake getting this dog. You know, I'm like, maybe I can't handle this dog. But now I'm like, I can handle this dog. You know?
Yeah, it's like no brainer, right? Yeah, it's not even a thing. Exactly.
It's not really that hard, and I mean, it's it's I don't know.
It's like parenting, right?
It is.
It's like it's a living being. They have their own minds and things, so it's not going to be as easy as push a button, you get the result. But it's much better than the whole not being like feeling powerless. You know what I mean? It's like what to do.
Right.
Sometimes it might take a little bit more effort than other times when he's in a mood, but overall, you know that as long as you continue to do what you know to do, you'll get the result that you need.
Yeah, exactly. And I always think too, like when he's having like he'll have maybe a week or so where he decides to be a butthead, and I have to get on him a lot. And I always think what you said to me, which was if you win every battle, you can't lose the war.
Exactly.
So
it
I'm
gets
like,
me
I
through
just gotta win this battle.
Gets me through every dog that I raise. I'm just like, okay, when they hit 6 months, I'm just like, all right, put on my gear. It's like, all right, we're going to war, because they're going to be very stubborn. And I always remind myself, you just ride the wave, and I'm telling you, eventually the storm settles, and as long as you steered straight, they will come out good on the other side, always.
I can definitely see that I think he's going to be a good dog when he's full grown and adult. So
they always, any dog, even the most not trained dog, they always simmer down at around a year old. You know what I mean? And for him, when he does, as I told you, he's going to be, I mean, you, and I'm sure you already do get compliments on him. He's a very good dog.
We do,
so.
Like we'll take him to, I was doing some like dog sport classes, like rally. We did like an intro to rally class, and we've done like a little bit of agility. He's not quite old enough to do full agility because of his joints, but just some training for it. And everybody's like, wow, he's only like 9 months old. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He's so good. And I mean, there will be other dogs in the class that are 3 or 4 years old, and they're not acting as good as he is. So, even around other dogs, like there'll be like 7 or 8 dogs there, and he's just like, he'll kind of want to meet them and sniff them, but he doesn't bark at them or anything like that. And meanwhile, he's usually getting barked at.
Yeah.
He gets barked at a lot.
It's same to the preacher.
He still has his.
They always do. The all natural males get bullied by the non.
Yeah.
So it's just But that's why I always tell you, if you train them right and you do everything, then you get to show. It's like my dog's over here behaving, and he's on his best behavior, and he's not neutered, but your neutered dog is like out of control right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's a myth that neutering creates a less aggressive dog, and it's not true.
I've seen plenty of neutered dogs in the dog parks that are aggressive, or at least just very obnoxious. And and people are always asking me too when I'm going to get him neutered. I'm like, probably never, because there hasn't been any issue that I can't resolve with training. So if I can resolve it with training, I'll do that. Plus we're probably going to show him, so he's going to start the show circuit this fall.
Oh wow, he's going to do amazing. You have to tell me how he does.
I will. Yeah,
I'm very excited for that. That's awesome. He's going to do great.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful dog, very handsome dog.
Thank you.
So he's enough. I swear, I always do this when I work with dogs, and they're like really beautiful, and I'm just like, I want a Doberman. And I was like, Rachel, don't you dare. You have too many dogs, don't you dare. I did it one time. I actually got a German Shepherd based on it. And anyway, we ended up, there was a woman that had a bunch of German Shepherds, and she had a bunch of cows. And so we ended up, one of hers died. And so we ended up giving him to her just because he was a great dog and all that, but the temperament wasn't for me. Like it was energy level, they don't tend to, I like the Mastiff. I like the fact that they're off. When they're off, and I like that.
Yeah.
My Shepherd was just always on, and it just, unless they're sleeping, always on. So anyway, does he need to go out?
He might need to go out, yeah. Okay. He'll usually kind of paw at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead and let him out.
So anyway, but I'm really glad to see him doing so well. So, so anyway, I want to just thank you for your time today, for letting me do this. I know I'd asked you, and I know it's it's a big thing to be on a YouTube channel like that and actually be seen. Not everybody wants to do that, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
and,
well, I'm glad to help out because I really want everyone to know what a great trainer you are. I couldn't ask for a better trainer than you. So I'm so glad that, and I know because of you, we have a much happier life with this dog. So
absolutely, absolutely. Well, anyway, I'm so excited for you. I really am. All of it, the showing him and the working him, it makes me very proud. I wish that more people were as invested in their dogs, because that's the biggest thing I've seen is, I get some clients that they hardly even show up to the trainings. I've had people, have me take the dog to the dog park because they forgot they had a cheerleading, practice or whatever. And so many people don't make the dog the priority, and you guys definitely have. You've done the work, and it shows in your dog.
Thank you.
And I wish that more people understood that you need to put the effort in if you want to have the results.
Yeah, we've put a lot of effort in him.
Yeah,
for sure. We've worked with him hard. Worked really hard on him.
You have a lot to be proud of for sure with him. Absolutely. Thank you. So anyway, well, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. So I hope that you have a great day, and we'll talk at you later. Bye.